You don't question the hand that lifts you out of the dirt. You don't ask what it wants later. When survival finally stops being a daily fight, gratitude feels like the truth. Order feels like honor. Obedience feels earned. And if loyalty saved your life once, why would you ever imagine it could destroy it? Goro Takemura. He does everything right. He's disciplined. He's loyal. He follows orders without cutting corners. His entire life is built around service. Not to a country or an idea, but to a corporation. Arasaka gives him structure and purpose. It gives him an identity. And in return, Takemura gives them everything. He gives them his time, his obedience, and his sense of self. And Takemura doesn't complain, he doesn't question things, and he doesn't drift. Because Takemura believes that loyalty is protection. As long as he does his job well, there's always going to be a place for him. And for a long time, he's right. Because see, Takemura's loyalty is not naive. It's practical. He grew up knowing what instability looks like, knowing what it means to have nothing beneath your feet. So when Arasaka offers order, he holds on to it tightly. Because this job does not just pay him, it tells him who he is. Every day has rules. Every role has a meaning. And every sacrifice makes sense. And when life works like that long enough, you stop asking questions. No, not because you're blind, but because everything feels stable. And that's the trap. When something works, you don't challenge it, you invest in it. And then everything suddenly collapses. Not because Takemura failed, and not because he betrayed anyone, but because the person that he was loyal to was gone. And suddenly the loyalty that once protected him means nothing. The corporations, they don't hesitate, they don't explain, and they don't mourn. And then Takemura is discarded. Not punished, not corrected, but replaced. And in one moment, his entire life stops making sense. Not because he was wrong, but because he was no longer useful. And this is where it hits home. Because most people don't lose everything the way Takemura does. They lose it quietly. A restructuring, a new manager, maybe a shift in priorities. And then one day, the thing that you built your identity around does not need you anymore. And that's when you realize something uncomfortable. You didn't just belong to it, you became it. Your schedule, your work habits, your sense of worth, all of it tied to a role that only existed as long as you were useful. You call it loyalty. You call it dedication. You call it providing. But I call it math. And it only worked while the numbers made sense. And when they didn't, neither did you. And see, Takemura doesn't turn against loyalty. And that matters. He doesn't become bitter. He doesn't become reckless either. He keeps going. He keeps going without the thing that told him who he was. Because loyalty itself is not a flaw. The real flaw is tying your entire identity to something that can replace you without noticing. Because see, work does not promise permanence. It promises function. And when the function ends, so does protection. And Takemura learns this too late. Not because he was foolish, but because he trusted something that never promised to care. And Takemura, he survives. But he is no longer whole in the same way. And yeah, his loyalty remains, but now it's unmoored. And that's the warning in his story. Not that loyalty is wrong, but that loyalty without choice turns into dependency. And dependency feels safe right up until it isn't. Takemura didn't fail. He did exactly what was asked of him. And that's what makes his story uncomfortable. Because the danger isn't doing something wrong. It's doing everything right for something that never intended to keep you.